After the Kings won the first 2 games of the series, the whole NBA world thought the Warriors were done. I mean, it was literally one comment after another, after another, after another, after another. And heck, to top things off, even a purple beam was lit. How crazy was that? Well, that was about a week ago. Since then, Steph Curry has put on a complete masterclass and has once again shown the basketball world what a top 10 player of all time looks like. And as a result, this is what's going on now.
That's it! The Warriors survive!
It looks pretty bad if you ask me, and I think the Kings could use a motivational boost. Should I light another beam? Or how about 2 beams? Or maybe 3? Okay, all jokes aside, guys, the Warriors are finally doing it, and with that being said, let's get straight into business. So, Game 5, guys. Wow. What a roller coaster of a game, and I think it probably aged me by like 10 years. I mean, the Warriors were up 7 in that first quarter. Then the Kings stormed back and took a 9-point lead in the second quarter. Then the Warriors had a 10-point lead at the end of the third, only for the Kings to take the lead again early in the fourth. What an intense back and forth swing. Then when it came to the last few seconds of the game, sheesh, guys. After 47 minutes and 58 seconds of the NBA's 2 most octane-filled offenses, it all came down to a Harrison Barnes 3. And thank goodness that it clanked off the rim, because just like that, the series is now tied at 2 apiece with all the momentum on the Warriors side. Anyway, not too long after the game, I hopped onto Reddit to fill myself up with anything I may have missed, and I came upon this post. Don't scroll without thanking this man. Well, obviously, I thanked him in my heart. But then I had to click to see what the buzz was all about, and these are the sentiments that fans seem to have. Finally won us a game. Bro thought it was the 2016 finals again. Warriors legend Harrison Barnes always misses the shot when it matters most. Barnes in finals form. I found those absolutely hilarious. And while I know it's all just fun and games and that those were made in friendly jest, it seems safe to say that at this point, unless he does something dramatic with his career, Barnes will probably always be known for the shots he didn't make back in 2016. Yikes, guys. Anyway, let's move on from here. And I think it's about time I start talking about the greatness of the Splash Brothers. You know, even after watching every single Warriors game for years on end now, it still amazes me what these two are capable of. I mean, look at this play here by Klay. He catches the ball from Draymond, then shot fakes to get his defender in the air. Once that happens, he moonwalks left, and while drifting a bit, he knocks down a corner 3. Man, you know, the Warriors were down 9 here at this point in the second quarter, and unless something happened soon, that 9 could have easily turned into a 20-point deficit, and that would have been the ballgame, and probably the series. So, although this doesn't officially count as a clutch basket, it was very clutch when you consider the context of it all. Anyway, next up, look at this play by Steph. Draymond passes the ball back to him, then as Steph looks like he sort of lost control of the ball for a second, he raises into his shooting stance and hits a deep, gold-blooded 28-footer. Ladies and gentlemen, what a show this was. What a show. I mean, looking at the box score here, both Curry and Klay combined for 58 points while shooting 20 for 37 from the field, 9 for 20 from three-point range, and a perfect 9 for 9 from the free throw stripe. Converting that into shooting splits would be 54% from the field, 45% from 3, and a perfect 100% at the line. Sheesh, guys. Talk about elite marksmanship. I know that at the very end of the game, Jordan Poole made a boneheaded turnover, and then Steph called a timeout that cost the Warriors a technical free throw and possession of the ball, but was that a game or what? I mean, the Kings rookie Keegan Murray went off for 23 points on elite shooting splits from both the field and from 3. And speaking of Keegan, just a fun fact. Did you all know that Keegan has a brother who also plays basketball? Yeah, Chris Murray is his name, and honestly, when I searched him up, I thought someone mixed up the images because he looks exactly like Keegan. But what I found out was that they're actually identical twin brothers. Anyway, I bring up this story because according to the latest mock draft by Tankathon, the Warriors seem to be the team that's going to pick him up in the 2023 NBA draft. So next season, there could be another 6'8" Murray shooting the lights out, but this time on the Warriors side. And you want to know something? For a split second, I honestly thought it was Murray taking the last and final shot for the Kings, and that's why my heart literally stopped for a few seconds. But moving on here, I want to talk about Wiggins a bit. I was saying before the playoffs started that Wiggins was going to give Fox a really hard time because of his defensive prowess, and that's exactly what's going on right now. I mean, sure, Fox went off in that game 1 for 38 efficient points, but come on, guys. That was Wiggins' first game back after 2 months? So not only was he out of game shape, but he was also tasked to guard the fastest player in the NBA. Well, since then, Wiggins has adjusted back to the NBA, but more importantly for the Warriors, he's adjusted to the speed and play style of De'Aaron Fox. I mean, look at this play here. The Kings are down 5 points with about 3 minutes remaining on the game clock. It's clutch time with Fox on the perimeter and two-way Wiggs guarding him. He does a quick crossover and attacks going right, but unfortunately, Wiggins matches him step for step. Fox then tries that deadly floater that he's been using all game to haunt the Warriors, but this time, Wiggins sends it back. And it's not just on Fox either. I mean, Malik Monk is also being introduced to the 2014 number 1 overall pick. Anyway, as we can see, it's official now. The Wiggins that guarded Luka last year, that guarded both Tatum and Brown last year, is finally back. And I've been saying this all along that once he returns, that the Warriors are going to look completely different, and that's what we've been seeing this series. I mean, like I said, aside from that game 1 where Fox shot 47% from the field and 50% from 3, he's now been shooting just 43% from the floor and 30%, which isn't good enough for the Kings to beat the Warriors. I think it's safe to say that at this point, De'Aaron Fox took a one-way ticket to Wiggins Island and feels like he's on that island from that popular TV show Lost. Now, anyway, going forward here, the Warriors now have all the momentum going into Game 5. Now, I know the series is tied up at 2 apiece, but it just seems like at this point that the Warriors have figured out the Kings more than the Kings have figured out the Warriors. If you're confused about that, here's what I'm talking about. I'll use both teams' 2 most effective scorers as an example. So, during the regular season, Fox had a true shooting percentage of about 60%, whereas Sabonis was at 67%. Those are elite shooting percentages, and it's no wonder why they had such success. In this series so far against the Warriors, however, those have dropped to 54% and 51%. That's a pretty steep drop-off if you ask me. Now let's look at the Warriors. So, during the regular season, Steph and Klay led the way for Golden State, and they shot true shooting percentages of 65.6% and 57.6%. Well, in the playoffs so far, Steph is still shooting it at about 65%, whereas Klay has improved his to 63%. In other words, the Warriors have answers for the Kings' best 2 players, whereas the Kings have no answers for the Warriors' 2 best players. And they know it. I know it, and I'm sure that by this point, we all know it. The Warriors are going to steal Game 5, then finish this one back at home in Game 6. Then from there, my goodness, guys, it seems that the Warriors are actually doing it again. It doesn't matter whether it's the Grizzlies or the Lakers, the Warriors are going to absolutely smoke either team. I mean, judging by the ways that both teams are currently playing, they literally don't stand a chance against this fully healthy Golden State team. Then when it comes to the Western Conference Finals, well, I first look forward to the slugfest that'll happen between Denver and Phoenix. That series is going to go 7 games, and it doesn't matter who comes out on top. They're going to be so exhausted, so beat up, that the Warriors will run laps around them. Then from there, it's literally the NBA Finals. And if Giannis is going to remain out due to injury, then it looks like 2023 is going to be a rematch between Golden State and the Boston Celtics. Now, I know the numbers all point towards Boston winning the championship this year, but hey, they all pointed to them as well last year, right? And we all remembered how that went down. Anyway, if that series comes up, I'm sure the one question the Warriors are going to have for them is, can you guys drive left now?